Yeah, that's what the Gatorade bottle's for.
All right.
No, it's what the basement floor is for.
Sump pump.
I do have a sump pump, actually.
Oh, I used to have a sump pump. I used to pee in it. So yeah, actually, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Justin's getting too many ideas. You better
Great minds. Great minds.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 78 of The Rich Dickman Show, the podcast that is slightly better than mediocre. I am your host. I am Rem, once again, on this weird journey. I told you it's going to get weird. We're doing two of my favorite things tonight. I'll tell you more in a second. Of course, with me, as always, is my buddy, my loyal compatriot. I haven't talked to him much this week. It's Ray. He's firing guys because they like weird barbecue or something. I don't know. He's some sort of barbecue racist. Ray, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on? Happy to be back here for episode 10,312.
That's right.
It's been a long journey to get here, but we are happy to be here.
We are. And tonight is incredibly happy for me, Ray, because as you know, as everybody knows that I love two things in life. The first being, well, three things. Myself, the second being pornography, and the third being Bob Ross. All sorts of weird things in between as well. And tonight, Svensson, we're going to do two interviews, the first of which is a wonderful podcast that I came across, and I'll tell that story in a second. But it is Justin and Nathan from the podcast Nothing But a Bob Thang. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello. Hey. Thank you.
So quick question, real quick. You love yourself, porn, and Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Is that the order that it falls in, or does it switch varies around?
Yeah, day to day. See what's going on, what the mood is, what comes on the television screen first. Yes, sir.
Have you thought about combining Bob Ross and porn?
We tried that.
Who says I haven't? Yeah. That's probably why I have you guys on the show tonight. Yeah, this is going to be fun. All right. So thanks for coming on. I want to talk a little bit about your podcast. I definitely want to talk a lot of Bob Ross.
Sure.
I was recently reading through Twitter. I don't even know when, a couple weeks ago when we first made contact, and I had saw, the Colin McEnroe thing. Colin McEnroe is a radio host out here in Connecticut where I live. And that name just piqued my interest for whatever reason. And I just started going down the rabbit hole, and then I saw the Nothing But a Bob Thang podcast. I'm like, oh, wait a second. What is this? So, Nathan and Justin, tell my audience of 7.5 people, what is the Nothing But a Bob Thang podcast?
So the Nothing But a Bob Thang podcast is our ill-advised attempt to watch every episode of Bob Ross and learn from him.
Yeah, it's
rate what he did.
One of our episodes is one of his, and so the joy of painting. It's about the minutia, I would say.
Yeah.
It's about the little things, the little changes, and it's a friendly poking fun. We both love Bob, and we also love to poke at him a little bit.
It's like, how you've watched an episode of The Joy of Painting, and you're like, wow. I really want to watch about 250 more of these right now. That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
We're doing it for you. Yeah.
So you guys just started season 3, episode 1. There are 438 Bob Ross episodes.
That sounds about
Something
right.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens at episode 237 where you guys look at each other like, I can't stand looking at you anymore. I'm tired of this.
Well, that's actually, we've already answered that question because we've had another podcast for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Going on 5 years. And so we've been looking at each other for about 150 episodes of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then whatever we're up to on Bob.
What happens then is we just switch to the other podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
And then just take it out on each other for an hour and a half.
It's a wonderful balance. Yeah.
And then you get right back
into what all good relationships are based on.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love
mutual
that.
verbal abuse.
We have a great push-pull dynamic. And we talk about that in therapy a lot.
Oh, yeah. Am I pushing or pulling?
Oh, you're pushing.
I'm pushing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
what's
it's
sad
$100
is
an hour. Please pay attention.
Yeah, I actually talked to a therapist on my last podcast, but let's move on.
That's good.
Yeah. What inspired you to want to make a podcast about the joy of painting?
Okay, so I think the idea came about when we were in heavy exploration on what to do another show about, because our other show isn't about anything. It's just us talking to each other. And, that only has a limited number of people. I think you said 17 and a half. That's about where we're at.
Yeah, maybe double.
Yeah. And so we were talking, what other kind of show could we do? We're not thinking of giving up podcasting. What else could we do that might be interesting? And I threw out a lot of ideas that Nathan summarily rejected. Right. Yeah. And this was the first one that he hit on and thought, oh, that actually could be a show. And so, yeah, I don't know. It was a nice little, I don't know. We both connected on it for some. Yeah, I mean, Bob is in the culture. Bob is in the zeitgeist right now. You know what I mean? Yep. And so I think there's a lot of interesting things to talk about as to why that is and to dissect that, Well,
and it's an opportunity. It's kind of a throwback to our childhood.
Right.
When, we would see Bob on TV.
Right.
During the summer,
see the man with the afro painting and go, that's interesting. Yeah. And then when it's over, go watch The Price is Right.
Exactly.
So you guys are probably right around the same age as me. What are you, late 30s, early 40s?
Yeah, I'll be 35 on Sunday.
Oh, you're mid 30s, so you're young. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm 32.
And Nathan's 32.
Shit, I was way off then. Man, Ray, it's weird being the old man. This is
same general area.
Right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I was looking through some of your stuff here online. What does the Bob Ross Corporation, Bob Ross Industries, I can't remember the exact name of the company, but what do they have to say about your podcast? Are they aware of it? Or are they fans? Or they tell you cease and desist or else?
They have nothing to say right now, and that's how we want it.
Correct. Yeah.
No, they should at this point, I would think, be aware of us.
Yeah.
Because enough people that have associated with them are aware of us, and they haven't.
So far, nothing. Yeah. I mean, I think just judging off of, I don't know if you guys saw that New York Times video that came out not too long ago about where are all the Bob Ross paintings. It's a great video. It's still up.
Yep.
And there's an amazing podcast episode about it.
Yeah, that we did. Yeah. But they seem like a sort of they don't seem aggressive. They seem pretty decentralized. Like they're not even thinking about selling the paintings, which would be an obvious source of income for them.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah. So they're pretty loose with everything. I mean, I think they're genuinely entertained that this is such a big deal to people,
Well, and I mean, if we're being honest, if they wanted to come after us, I mean, they'd get like $5.
Right.
So. just swing their dicks around. But what fascinated me about that New York Times video is that for my entire life after Bob Ross died, I was told that all the paintings were donated to PBS stations around the country.
Yes.
But apparently
that
that's maybe partly true or not very much true. And they're all stored away in a warehouse. And now they're coming back out to the public view, right?
Right. Yeah. Some are going to be in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
And
he had a dedicated display, like a museum display.
Right.
Set up. I can't remember where it was at now, which is it's his first solo exhibit in a museum.
Correct.
I think isn't that in Virginia? I thought I read that.
I believe
yes, it's in Virginia. Yes. That's correct. Okay. Yeah. And we've also been talking to some folks up in Muncie, Indiana, where they filmed The Joy of Painting. Who are setting up this thing called the Bob Ross Experience, which sounds really neat. They have, they have some of his equipment, and I think they have a few paintings as well. Mm-hmm. And they invited us to come up and record, so we're hopefully doing that in the next few weeks. So
that's amazing.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you guys located?
We're in Nashville, of all places. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Ray is in California. Ray, tell them how terrible California is.
California's awesome. It's the best.
You guys keep moving here. That's what I've noticed. Yeah.
Oh man, we pretty much go from here to either Idaho, I think a little bit of
Texas.
Colorado and
You're
a
taking
lot of
over
Texas.
Texas.
Holy
Yeah.
Texas.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, take over Texas. Texas needs it.
Wait, okay. Ray, I'm sorry. Ray, you added something here, so I'm going to let you grab that one.
Well, as you were talking about this, I'm curious because you guys obviously have a lot of knowledge of what's going on currently, and it sounds like in the past. Were you guys big fans and almost? I mean, you sound like an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Whoa.
But no, I'm curious. Like, were you big fans of Bob Ross before the podcast, or is it more of a you once you got into it, then you're like, oh wow, there's so much to explore, and you've just learned the most since you've been doing the podcast?
I would say Justin was a bigger fan.
Yeah.
Mine, it was mostly like casual nostalgia.
Right.
Justin had more of the Bob Ross love in his heart than I did.
Yeah. I just love PBS personalities in general.
And as a bitter old curmudgeon, I don't love anything. So.
Like you guys had Huell Hauser out there. I mean, how does it get any better than Huell?
We're on Huell.
I want to do a Huell show at some point. Someone should run with that, you know?
Ray, break them the news. Break the news to them.
Okay, so the original co-host of the show went by the name Huell Hauser.
What? You're kidding?
He's around 52 episodes. And
then, wow.
Then I came along.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to leave. He had to go join ISIS. But
wow. Okay.
Right. Had to. Yep.
Yeah, some deep lore there. No, the Huell Hauser stuff is great.
That's a turn for Huell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. We played some of the videos here on the show early on.
So good.
Yeah. So I got to tell you guys about why this is so interesting to me. Why I wanted to have you guys on is that, this is 2019. So mid 2018, I realized that Bob Ross was back in my life through YouTube or on Netflix, or they had the Twitch channel. It was all Bob Ross.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I had watched an episode like, oh my God, I remember these. Like Bob hadn't been on my mind in years, but I was, when I was either home from sick or home from school sick or home during the summer from school, Bob Ross would be on the PBS station, be 2 episodes in the morning. And then, we'd watch The Price is Right. And then maybe there'd be another one in the afternoon. And I loved watching them. And then it all disappeared. So it recently came back, and then mid to late last year, I really got every night on YouTube. I was watching a Bob Ross episode, and I didn't go in order. I just whatever YouTube recommended next. So I saw so many of these Bob Ross paintings to the point where for Christmas gifts, I was getting Bob Ross bobbleheads, and I have a Bob Ross little Funko Pop, and it inspired me to actually start painting in his style. I can't follow along, and I'm not an artist by any means. But I grabbed a few paintbrushes. At the time, it was acrylic paints, and then I moved on to oils. And I just started just putting shit on the canvas, and it was like, oh my God, he's right. Anybody can do this. Now, they're not the greatest paintings in the world, and I don't claim that they are. But I found that weird sense of peace and calm while creating that my own little world in that canvas. So
yeah,
I think it's really great that you guys are out there doing a podcast dedicated to Bob Ross and to his show. And, joking aside, just that awareness, and I don't know, it's like, it warms my heart as a weird fan who never met the guy or has no other connection to it.
Yeah. Well, and the way we like to describe it is we poke fun because we love Bob.
Right.
Like
right.
Like we tease on the show, but also at the same time, we're going through every episode. Clearly we love Bob.
Right. Exactly.
For the same reason. I mean, it's not, there's something there that it's not just, painting and showing off your painting. There's something additional, something peaceful about the entire process.
Well, and I'm glad to hear that it inspired you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what he wanted to happen ultimately,
Yeah.
He
I even
wanted
have
to
a jar
give that
of
to
liquid
people.
white.
See, there you go. Do
That's
not
the
use
right
gesso.
There. No.
Gesso is garbage.
Nope.
Yeah.
Worse.
I haven't used
No,
gesso. I used acrylics to paint my canvases black, and I got
There
the
you
liquid white. I've used the liquid white once. I used too much the first time, and then I got scared.
Yeah. We tried to paint too. It was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
That's a question I wanted to ask. Have you tried to paint along with him or in his style?
Yeah, we did. So our season 2 finale, we tried to paint along in real time with Bob. And
oh boy,
you were talking about how relaxing painting was for you. Painting real time with Bob Ross is not relaxing. Right. We were sweating. It was very stressful.
So yeah, that episode is Final Grace, I think.
Final Grace.
So there's a link to the video.
Justin just ended up with a blue canvas.
I did. It was going okay, and then I just
blue everywhere.
I lost faith in myself somewhere in there and couldn't get it back.
That's what's so incredible about him is that in 27 minutes he had a blank, well, for the most part, a blank canvas that turned into a masterpiece, and it looks so effortless, and you think you just pick up a brush and you can just do it right along with him, and
yes, you cannot.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, we've met so many, and now including y'all to the list. I mean, we've met so many people through doing this, and it's been great. I mean, we have a friend who, well, he's also in California. I can't remember what town he's in, but he goes by the handle Thalo Dave, for Thalo Green, Thalo Blue. So Thalo, he sent us painting supplies through the mail, and so that's how we were able to do that, and it was incredible. Nice. Yeah, and so people like that, and the people up in Muncie, and lots of other just fans, of Bob reached out, and it's been awesome. It's been a really positive thing.
Yeah.
Have you guys explored the early seasons versus later seasons when they spelled Thalo wrong? Early on, it was Thalo, and then as they figured it out, it was Pthalo.
I don't think we picked up on that, but you're right.
How did we miss that?
We totally missed that.
You know what happened?
What?
We were focused on Bob's butt pockets.
Yeah, we were. We were focused on his jeans. Yeah.
He's got a real fancy ass the first 2 seasons. Yeah. It's really great.
It's a pretty cute ass, man. But yeah, I know.
That's when he had the glasses and the gold chain.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
Disco Bob. Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing to see his before he grew the fro, what he looked like.
Yeah, totally. And you can find pictures when he was in the Air Force and everything.
When he was ball busting Bobby.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's just such an interesting person because he really took a turn in his life, and decided to do what he wanted to do, coming from a good place and at whatever cost. And it turned out wonderful for him, I mean, I think he was pretty miserable before he discovered painting.
Yeah. He said he never wanted to yell again, so he started painting. Hey, Ray, exactly. I want to tell you a fun fact about Bob Ross. Ray, you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready for it.
The reason Bob Ross had the afro was because he needed a gimmick to be noticed. So he grew it out. And then when he wanted to get rid of it, he couldn't because that was who he was.
That's right. That's right.
That's funny.
And if you look at the paints and the brushes, it all has his face on there with the fro. So.
Yeah, he actually hated the afro.
Yep. We've also heard that one reason he did it is to maybe save money on haircuts.
Yeah,
early on.
That one too.
that was part of it. Yeah, and I mean, we love to think about. I mean, we don't want to piss off the Kowalskis because they are Bob Ross Inc. But the relationship between Annette and Bob and Walt and Annette are married, and
basically were his backing.
They were his backing, right? And now their daughter runs the company, and I don't know. It's interesting. She was, she went to a painting class with him and was so enthralled by him that she said she couldn't even finish what she was doing.
Yeah.
And then they just had this crazy ride together. It's kind of awesome.
She made him shirts.
Yeah, she sewed his shirts for the show. We found that out not too long ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, how excited are you guys to go to Muncie? I'm just thinking of that now.
Super excited. Yeah. And I haven't really spent much time in Indiana, so I'm excited in general. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be visiting the place where they filmed the show.
Well, right? So what they're putting together, and they're not done with it, but it's a really cool project because it is basically renovating the entire studio that
WIPB
he painted in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like you're actually there when he was painting.
Yeah, and they have an Indiegogo too. So if you look up Bob Ross Experience Indiegogo, right. They've got some neat stuff. Yeah,
you can get a T-shirt.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
you can get a button.
Right. So they're
buttons.
They're pretty close. I think the money is just to finish what they have to do. So yeah.
Right. My friend Chris O.C. would say, fuck those guys. They should raise their own money for their hobby.
Yeah. Well, that would be the Indiegogo I started for my next, folk album. So,
Hey, Ray, what's your experience with Bob Ross? Or is this your first time ever hearing of the man?
I've never heard of him before. No. No, so I didn't really watch a lot of TV growing up. So I definitely, PBS, everyone gets PBS, right? Mm-hmm. I did see him here and there, but never really spent much time watching anything that he did. Never watched the show that much, saw it here and there. But still, he's still just part of society. Like you said, part of the zeitgeist. Yeah. And it's one of those, just one of those people that if you do watch anything that he does, it's still fascinating. No matter what, you just, like you were saying, he's so relaxed. It makes it look so easy. And it's just a calming experience watching it, which is honestly in today's society, something that we need.
Exactly.
I was actually going to ask you guys, because we've gotten this question multiple times from different people. Why do you think he's such a big deal right now? And that's the answer we've always landed on, is in the current chaos.
Right.
A nice man with an afro painting quietly is very calming.
Yeah.
I mean, I've maintained the world was a better place when Bob Ross was alive, so with all the bullshit we have to put up with today, and all the hammers of information smashing in the face every time you look at your phone, it's nonstop. But here's this man saying, there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. Sometimes you need the dark to go to reveal the light. It's all, like, oh shit, that makes sense. I get it. Just slow down and enjoy.
Yeah. Bob definitely falls in with the whole mindfulness thing. That's also, gaining in popularity these days, which is a great thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. He's all up on my wife's meditation app.
Yeah. He's on the meditation app. Yeah. There you go.
Really? That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Calm app, you can download Bob Ross episodes that they've mixed into like meditation stuff, I guess. I'm not sure what to do.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
Bob Ross was what I'd put on my, I lay down for bed, I have my tablet, my earbuds in, and I'd put on Bob Ross episode. And sometimes I'd make it all the way to the end, but most of the times he'd put me right to sleep, which is beautiful. It's just great.
Yeah.
It's a good way to fall asleep.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
All the subliminal messaging, I think, is what got me to paint. But let me ask you guys, Justin and Nathan, and again, thanks for coming on. This is a really fun chat.
Our pleasure.
I don't know if I can ask you what your favorite Bob Ross painting is, because there are so many. But what is your favorite style of Bob Ross painting? Like, for instance, I'm not a huge fan of the waves that he does, but I like more of waterfalls and like deep forest type stuff.
Okay.
Well, we're always impressed by mountains.
Mountains we
love.
Just
because he somehow paints the mountain in a minute and a half every single time.
And it's very dramatic.
For Brown Mountain.
Yeah, we don't like Brown Mountain.
Brown Mountain was the worst painting.
Brown Mountain.
Hate Brown Mountain.
Yeah. Season 2, maybe episode 7 or something.
Yeah. The worst. Oh.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's exactly what you would expect from a painting called Brown Mountain. Mountains are, we always like that. Waterfalls are always impressive. We always get stuck on clouds.
Yeah, we do get stuck on sky, clouds, light source.
I feel like if you did like one of the word cloud things for our podcast, cloud and mountain would be the biggest words that are on the page. And then,
Black and white seascape is a favorite.
That one was our favorite.
Yeah, we do. Not to part ways with you here, but we do like the water stuff quite a bit.
Oh, that's fine.
Well,
dark, anything with a black canvas.
Yeah,
we really like that. Yeah.
Oh, and that's fun to paint, because I tried the black canvas a couple times, and it's amazing when you put some of those transparent colors on and then bring them to life with the white. I was like, oh my god, this is cool. So
it's magical. Not at all. No,
it's so different. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the black and white seascape was that's definitely been our favorite painting because it wasn't like he was trying to be photorealistic in what he did. We want a little bit of Bob whimsy.
Yeah.
We want
impressionistic Bob.
Yeah. We want to know what's going on in the head.
Right.
We want him going, this is what a tree looks like.
You feel it in your heart and then you put it on canvas.
Yeah.
Well, so this is so awesome because what you guys are doing right now is basically like a microcosm of the podcast.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I didn't even know you guys had the podcast. I didn't know it existed until this week when Rem said, or maybe it was last week when Rem said, "Hey, we're getting these guys to come on." I was like, "Oh, let me check that out." So I was listening to an episode, and I'm not gonna lie, dude, it was like the best 49 minutes of my week. It was amazing.
Oh, right. Thank you.
And this is why, like, I would absolutely recommend anyone should go listen to the podcast. Anyone listening, please go do it. It is fantastic. And so what I like about it is, and I don't know if it's completely intentional or not, but you're basically, obviously you guys know what you're talking about. You're not just, popping in an episode, never heard of the guy, and you're going to critique him. You guys know what you're talking about. And as the episode, commences and things happen, because you do have the knowledge, but then the way you critique him with like the tone and the angles and everything, you're basically critiquing an uncritiquable person to an extent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which
That's right.
it is fantastic. I love it. It was so enjoyable.
I'm glad.
And it's still like it's still a little bit calming though. You get the Bob Ross element in there. It's like the calming element with a nice little comedy. It's the overall podcast it's a real pleasure. So.
Well, thank you very much.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was Nathan's idea to use the rubric, and I think that was a brilliant move.
Yeah, I did spend a full 45 seconds finding that rubric too. So
like Google, where is it?
Second rubric.
Yeah,
there we go.
It's literally a middle school art class rubric, which is unfair to Bob. But
to be fair, us critiquing him is also terribly unfair. We have no business critiquing him.
It's very true.
Which is what makes it so enjoyable. Well, the other thing I was going to say, the other thing that's really funny is because it is a mature podcast, which if you're just looking it up, Bob Ross podcast, you're not really expected to be mature. And it's not like you guys are incredibly vulgar, I'm not trying to turn people off on that. You just have swearing here and there. But since it's not what you would normally expect from a Bob Ross style podcast, was that something you guys planned from the beginning, or did it just happen?
No, that just happens.
That's the universe. Yeah, I mean,
and that's toning it down.
Right, it is.
We haven't talked about Bob's dick at all.
At all, not much. I thought about it.
Yeah, we've all thought about it. I mean, we're human.
I assume it has a waterfall on it or something. Maybe it's evergreen.
It has the same fro.
Right. Oh. Oh, Jesus.
That's so cool.
No, it just comes out.
Yeah, you guys know this, as there's something that happens when you get people together, I call it chemistry. It's like playing in a band, like sometimes you just have it or whatever. And for whatever stupid ass reason, Nathan and I can talk to each other and we don't really mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, that's why we started our first show anyway, is we just like to talk to each other. And, I don't know. It just grew from there.
That, by the way, when I die, I want you to say that at my funeral. Okay. For whatever stupid ass reason, we could talk to each other. Bury him. Done.
And there's proof. All these episodes of us talking about Bob Ross paintings.
Right.
How many episodes of Nothing But a Bob Thang are you up to now?
I think Nothing But a Bob Thing.
Oh, nothing but
a Bob. It's let me see. It's like
so there's 13 episodes per season. We've done a couple specials.
It's a 30 something. Yeah. 30 something probably.
Yeah, so you have another 400 to go, not including any more specials. Yes.
Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah,
and we'll be doing more specials too.
Oh yeah.
And you release weekly?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Oh boy, you're going to be doing this for a while. Oof.
Yeah. Well, you got to think of something to do for retirement and all that. So stay busy so you don't die.
Cool.
Yeah,
makes sense.
It's a reason to stay alive.
Absolutely. So why don't you guys tell us, and feel free to tell us about your other podcasts as well, but tell us how do we get a hold of Nothing But a Bob Thang, and how do we get a hold of you guys, and what's coming up?
Yeah, so on Twitter at Bob_Thang Pod, THANG. That's Nathan.
Hi.
Nathan does that. Our other show is called Sushi Jackknife, which we got from a mistaken autocorrect on his phone. And it was going to be that, or what was it, Gaudy Dickens?
Yeah, Gaudy Dickens.
Something like that.
One.
So I'm at Sushi Jackknife. These are both on Twitter. And then you can email the show. We have nothing, no G, but a Bob Thing at gmail.com. And some people do that, and that's great. But I would say probably Twitter and the email are the main ways. If
you listen to podcasts through Anchor,
yes, yeah,
you can go on there and leave us voicemails.
Yep, you can do that.
Which Justin listens to so much. Like that's all he wants to do is listen to voicemails.
We had a guy leave us one while he was in the bathtub, and I thought that was pretty great. So
that is amazing.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to just lather up and leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, I might do that. Yeah.
In the words of Del the Funky Homo Sapien, you got to wash your ass.
Yeah. Wash that ass. I know. So what's the next episode? What do we got on that?
Next episode, season 3, episode 2. I remember thinking this was going to be a good one, Nathan.
Yeah, I honestly try not to look ahead too much, because if I do, then the whole time I'm sitting there watching it going, this one sucks. I hate the ending.
Right.
Or, this one's going to be really good.
Blue Moon.
Mm.
Which sounds very intriguing.
Just this portion that I've seen looks like a lot of water. So we'll like it. And we'll probably hate it.
Moonlight on water. Yeah. And we'll probably have
the water, it's the waves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crashing waves.
We enjoy referencing Bill Alexander too, who was Bob's, teacher, who is the cardinal opposite of Bob. Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's Bizarro Bob.
It is Bizarro Bob.
Wow. He is the Mad Prussian.
Yep.
He is the least relaxing human being to watch ever.
He literally yells at the viewers. He yells at his ducks, apparently. Yeah. He
the episode we watched, at one point, he basically just said, I don't have time for this, and just
bye-bye.
That's amazing.
So it's fun to work Bill in whenever we can. We call those alternate reality episodes where it's like we're doing a Bill Alexander podcast, but we're not. So
nice. That would be way too stressful.
So stressful.
You guys are great. I'm so glad you guys managed to come on and we got this together. So maybe we can work in tandem again, talk some more Bob and some painting at some point. But
we would love that. We would love that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I got to get Ray up to speed so he can nerd out with us and not kind of pretend.
Yeah,
Ray.
I know. Yeah, no, I'll keep listening to the podcast. And I mean, for real, just like we were saying earlier, there's a place in this world for Bob. In today's society. So I'm going to hit up the YouTube and I'll catch up.
Good.
Agreed.
If we come on the podcast again and you haven't caught up, we're going to take you to task.
I'll have hell to pay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We will call you names. We will verbally bully you.
Nathan's memory is long.
Ooh. Yeah. That's great.
Well,
all right. So Justin,
thank
Nathan,
you guys so very much.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
it.
Okay, check out Nothing But a Bob Thang, and we'll talk again soon. All
right.
Excellent, fellas.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Our pleasure. Have a great night.
Hey, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
Ray, that was fun. That was really fun.
Those guys are awesome. And for real, the podcast is actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to their podcast. But yeah, they're awesome guys. They're very cool.
That was, just being able to see, I don't get to talk Bob Ross with anybody in my life. So it was so nice to be able to talk to Bob Ross with somebody, and they knew what I was talking about when I made references to things. It was great. Oh, it was so exciting. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's move on here. And, let me type there in Discord. No. Thank you so much. There we go. All right. So let's move along here while we wait for, our next guest to get on here. This is, our nightly talk show here. Ray, what's going on with you, man? How have you been?
Super busy. That's pretty much how it goes. Just working. But other than that, not really too much going on. I'm trying to think if anything really interesting happened. No, not really. Just another week in the books.
Another week. Yeah. I noticed that the notes hadn't been touched, and usually you're all up in there. Ray, I feel like your production here is kind of lacking lately. And, you try to say that it's busy. And, you know what, Ray? I'm busy too. You know, so.
You know what I did? I looked into getting the cozies, the koozies, but I was going to call them cozies. You want to know why? It should be a cozy. It really should be a beer cozy, because
cozy,
you would want your beer to be all snuggled and comfortable. You know what's a koozie? A koozie's nothing.
Do we really need to think about beer as snuggling it though, Ray? I mean, cause it's beer, and beer doesn't want to be snuggled. Beer wants to be gripped firmly. Beer wants to be held tight. Beer wants to be guzzled down your throat and find its way to your belly. I don't know that cuddling has anything to do with beer.
You want to take care of it. You can't shake it around. You can't, that's what it's for. It's to protect it from getting all over fizzled.
You sound like a Russian asset.
I could be. Yes, actually, maybe I am.
Maybe you are.
For all we know.
Yeah.
What is all that business? I don't even know any of that stuff. I don't keep up on the politics.
Ray,
so there's Russian assets now or something?
What you need to know is that if you don't like somebody, you call them a Russian asset. Try to discredit them. No matter who they are.
You don't like me. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ray, I told you, you need to get your shit together, Ray. Get your shit together.
So that's literally all it is basically if you, that's the epitome of it, right?
Yeah.
The crux of it. You just basically call someone an asset if they're not someone that you're agreeing with, maybe like a conversation ender.
Yeah, maybe you're not agreeing with them over something. Maybe you're having a political discussion. Maybe you lost a presidential race. Maybe you're not running again. Maybe you're just going to call people Russian assets because you feel like it and you think it's going to buy you some street cred. I don't know, Ray. I don't know. What I do know is that you can find all your Rich Dickman stuff at richdickman.com. That's where we are on the web. And then you can go ahead and click the merch tab if you want to buy a shirt and help support the show. And there's also patreon.com/richdickman. Go check that out. We'd like to unlock some goals because even though Ray's busy, I would like to get him to do bonus episodes. And, what do we else we got? That's kind of it, right, Ray? That's it.
Yeah.
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 All right. We're just vamping here, waiting for Elisa Mae to join us, which I'm very excited about, Ray. We could do Dick of the Week with her, because if we start now, what's going to happen is she's going to jump right in. So let's talk about.
Do you think that she's like an expert on Dick of the Week?
Jesus Christ, Ray! You got to be a little bit a little better than that, Ray. Come on.
Yeah, I get in my jokes as soon as I can. I can't hold on to them forever.
Now I have to apologize on your behalf, you asshole.
Well, should I have saved it for when she was here so she could hear the terrible jokes?
Yeah, because then she could groan and then make you feel bad about yourself. Yeah, maybe she does like
sexy groan,
insult penis porn. Say, oh, look how small it is.
Groan. She could have.
There is something I wanted to talk about here, and what the fuck? The Dickman line. Call the Dickman line, 860-316-4776. Email the show, richdickmanshow@gmail.com. We're all over the place. Again, 2 weeks in a row. Last week was weird. This week is weird. Oh God, Ray. I gotta tell you, man, life is hard when one doesn't sleep, and I have not been sleeping, and it's making things increasingly difficult.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get that resolved fairly soon. I gotta watch more Bob Ross. I gotta get Bob back in my life.
Yeah, possibly. Have you ever heard that thing that I don't know where I heard it. It might have been, who knows? Doesn't really matter. But the whole, if you're sleep deprived, it's technically more impairing than being drunk. I mean,
yes, I've heard that. Yep.
Obviously there's a ratio there. Like if you have like a 0.40 blood alcohol content, like you're pretty much dead. So, versus like 1 3-night hour,
listen,
sleep,
at least when you're drunk, your brain is functioning just in a slower way. But when you're exhausted, your brain doesn't function. Like I tried taking a nap. I think I was out for like 10 minutes and I started talking about beans the other day. I have no idea what that was all about. Yeah. I didn't know where I was or what's going on. Man,
you know what it is though? It's not the one night of being sleep deprived, because have you ever done those? Like I remember doing that in school and things like that. Whatever it is, something happens, an emergency, whatever it is. Next thing you know, you only got 2-3 hours of sleep that night. You're pulled an all-nighter and you're not too bad off the next day. It's the day after that you just hit a wall and it's like death. Holy smokes. That is the worst. No. That is the worst. That's where you're at right now. Huh?
Yeah. It's been a couple days and it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ. While we're waiting, we do have a voicemail. This is kind of in Dick of the Week territory, but it's a voicemail from Hot Drummer News Babe. So I'll play it. All right, here we go.
Hey, you guys, it's Mars with a news story, a possible Dick of the Week. I don't know, but it's based on my sheer hatred of haunted houses. I don't go in them. I don't want weirdos jumping out at me, touching me, scaring the shit out of me. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I enjoy Halloween, but I'm not going through any crazy haunted houses. So when I found this story today, I just had to put it out there for everyone else's consideration. I think the person who has created this haunted house is a dick. And I'll tell you another reason why when I get there, but here's what I have. A haunted house, 2 haunted houses require a 40-page waiver, insurance, and a drug test. So out of Summertown, Tennessee, a haunted house that promises an extreme experience that can last up to 10 hours requires participants to be medically cleared by a doctor and sign a 40-page waiver. The McCamey Manor experiences in Summertown and Huntsville, Alabama also require visitors to be at least 18, insured, and to pass a background check and drug test. That's reason number 2, this person's a dick. I think you would need to be on drugs to get through an experience like this. But anyway, WFLA-TV reports that owner Russ McCamey offers thousands of dollars to anyone who completes the tour, but he says no one ever has. He records each tour on video for his own protection, he says, and then posts them online showing people quitting in humiliation. On the plus side, it costs nearly nothing to enter, just a bag of dog food, but the website warns of physically demanding environments. But McCamey says the manor is a mental game. Really, guy? So there's some links here in the story. I'll send them. Maybe it's people quitting in humiliation or whatever, but Jesus Christ. So that's my 2 cents. Have a great night. Bye.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like I've inspired a generation of people who know how to rant, and that's fantastic. Thank you, Drummer News Babe, for that. We'll talk about that more in a second, but yes, haunted houses are awful. But we just had our second guest join us. It is Elisa Mae, the beautiful Elisa Mae. Are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys taking your time to talk to me.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Ray, we have Elisa Mae with us. She is an adult performer here in New England, which is fantastic. And the reason she's on the show, of many, but the main reason is that she was the Rich Dickman Show Twitter account's 100th follower. And I saw, so I clicked on her profile. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a stunning woman. Hello, let me send a DM and we'll see if we can get you on the show. And here we are. So thank you, Elisa, for joining us.
Very, very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I would love just to pick your brain a little bit and ask you a bunch of questions, because not a bunch, I have a few, but the big one I have is that, I had mentioned this to you while we were talking about coming on the show, is that, I've had family in Vermont, and I know the state of Vermont, and that's where you have on your Twitter profile, that's where you're located. And it's amazing to me that somebody, from the state of Vermont is now has 2 scenes shot for Plumperpass and a wonderful ManyVid site, and is doing all sorts of amazing things. How did this start for you?
To be completely candid, I always kind of had a sort of exhibitionist side in me that I fostered from the time I was able to, sort of. I really started posting on the internet, like on FetLife, just kind of posting nudes for free, just like because I I felt like it. I wanted to. It was just like a liberating, like, woo, I can do this. Right. Why not? And then from that point on, around when I was like the end of 2017, this guy got me to like do like lingerie, like a sexy photo shoot in his basement. And I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. It was kind of creepy, but it was kind of fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just did my first photo shoot, and I had all these like really like risque pictures of like my ass and my titties, and I didn't have any sort of modeling Instagram yet. So I made one of those, and then I kind of blew up on Instagram. I got like 150,000 followers on there. And then I was like, I can do porn because I want to. And then I started doing it. And since August of 2018, I've been doing it full time.
Wow. So is it now a full-time job for you, or do you still have to work another job to make ends meet?
No. And in August of last year is when I stopped working my retail job.
Wow. That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
May I ask, how old are you? If I had to guess, if you will allow me, and I can edit all this out if you want me to, so just let me. It's fine.
I don't care if people know.
But I'm going to guess like early 20s, 22, 23.
Yeah, I turned 23 in July.
Oh man, see, look at me, Ray. Look at me go.
Wow. Wow.
So you're up in Vermont, and for the audience, my very small audience, who, if you don't know, Vermont is a beautiful state. Don't get me wrong. I love it up there. But it has its own breed of people, right? You know what I mean, Elisa, right?
I'm a total one of those people. I'm a total Vermonter through and through.
So now, have you been noticed in your local community yet? Or somebody recognized you?
I definitely have. I have people who are definitely creepy and like, I have people who like kind of stalk me, like low key, like they know where I am. I can't like use dating sites because like, even just to, I don't know, even just like make like connections, you know what I mean? Because like people like recognize me, and then it's like, I had this one guy like go on all of my platforms and be like, I saw you in this site. Like, was this actually you? Like, are you actually here? Like, all this other stuff when I was actually shooting for my Plumperpass scene. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of started rambling on that, but
no, it's fine. Because that's the part that fascinates me is that, you know, when we make not when we like me, yeah, but when somebody makes a decision to go into the adult business, there's always I don't want to say consequences, but the ramifications of the people around them. When we spoke with, when we spoke to Bella Benz a few weeks ago, and the interview that, Ray, it was too hot to air, Ray. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the recording. It was too hot to air. She had mentioned that, that people that she worked with at her full-time job had recognized who she was. And I was thought that was interesting. You had said that when we were talking in our DMs that you would be interested to talk about somebody who was raised in a very porn unfriendly state. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I only know that it's porn unfriendly now that I have actually shot a real scene. So like, okay, here's the thing is that flights out of Burlington Airport are super expensive compared to other flights just because it's such a small airport. Right. So it's like, it doesn't make me very appealing to work with for companies because I feel like I'm more of like an expense, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it took me it was like 6.5 hours round trip of driving to get talent tested to work with a production company. And like, I've faced a lot of like problems myself with like, just in general with my job. Like I've been doxxed. That's how my family found out like what I did. Gosh. Like, it was, I don't know. It's been a total struggle kind of, just living here. Like, I feel like really isolated compared to a lot of other models who are like living in Vegas or Florida or California or whatever, anywhere more relevant than Vermont.
And that leads into my next question here, because that's one of my initial thoughts with you being in Vermont. That's why that was so interesting to me, is because it's not easy to get to Vermont. Right? It's kind of a drive, especially if you're going up, close north up in the Montpelier area. I was in Stowe last year for vacation, and it surprisingly took like 4.5 hours. I had no idea it was going to take. I should have known because I have GPS and all that other bullshit, right? But it took longer than I thought it was going to take, and it's so isolated. So getting out of that airport. So are you, when you say you shot for Plumperpass, right? Is Plumperpass? They're in Miami, is that correct?
Yeah, I think I shot in Miami. I think they also have offices in California, but
okay,
yeah.
So you flew from Vermont into Miami. Stops along the way, I'm not sure, but that cost, is that something that you pay for out of your own pocket, or does the company take care of that for you to get you down there?
With companies like Plumperpass, they tend to pay for everything, so that includes your flight, your hotel. They pay you for your time, your day. When I was there, they paid for my lunch. I had makeup and hair. It was like the whole shebang. Like it was like the real deal. I've talked to other production companies, and it hasn't been so professional. It hasn't been so cut and dry. It's been more negotiating. Like, I'll do this scene if you pay for my plane ticket and my hotel. You'll get this exclusive scene from me. Yeah,
negotiations.
Wow. So, like, hey, we'll buy you a suite in the Marriott if you're willing to do anal tonight. Is that kind of deal?
It's not quite that like that. It's just more so like it's me deciding how much. So for me personally, I'm not going to do something if I'm going to be spending more of my own money than I'm making there. So that's just my standard. Some people travel on their own and get paid for shoots or do it for free just because they're in the area. But it's always a struggle to get me in whatever area somebody is in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always like a huge thing every time.
How many scenes did you end up shooting for Plumperpass when you're down there? Was it just the 2?
Yep, I did 2, and I'm scheduled. Yep. I'm going back on January 9th.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So now you're up in Vermont. I assume you're filming a lot of your own material.
Yeah, I try to do something at least every day.
Mm-hmm. And that's where. Okay, so we'll move on, because again, I have so many questions. I'm sorry if I sound like a big nerd here.
No, you're totally fine. Okay.
But I figured I have this stupid podcast, and I can ask these questions now, right? Right, Ray? So yep. Where you have what sites you're on? I know you have the ManyVid site, and do you have an OnlyFans or a Clips for sale?
I have a Clips for sale. I have an OnlyFans, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Pornhub. I'm on a bunch of other random sites to promote myself, but not really promote myself, just make myself known on this site just to, why not?
Right. So we had Swiney on a couple weeks ago, from Swiney's program he's out in Vegas, and we were talking about kind of the finances of the industry now, and he had mentioned that he finds most of his income comes from the ManyVids site. And do you find the same thing with ManyVids? Is that a good place for somebody who wants to make a little extra cheddar, showing off their beautiful behind?
For me personally, I study shit a lot. I study patterns, and what for me and my at least people that I follow on Twitter, ManyVids has stopped being as consistent as it used to be. Oh. And a lot of consistent income has come from OnlyFans. And I've had that same pattern myself, because OnlyFans is a super simple site. It's streamlined in a way. You can sell clips through the DMs, but you also have this whole feed that's
oh yeah,
an archive of the past year or however long you've had it. It's just, to me, OnlyFans is a superior site compared to ManyVids for a lot of creators.
Okay. So you said you're trying to post content every day. So how much of your day is taken up with creating that content to post? Like, do you sit around in a planning session in the morning and then start shooting at noon, or it's just spontaneous?
I don't shoot every day. I try to post every day.
Oh, okay.
So, if I'm shooting one day, I get up at like around 7 every morning. I could be up earlier, around 6. I try to do my makeup by like noon, and I try to be shooting whatever I'm shooting by like 1 or so, because light like escapes really fast here. So I can't be like working at night because I don't have enough lighting.
Where does your local talent come from? Do you have friends who you call and say, "Hey, I need your penis for a couple hours," or is there like a trade pool up there? Like, where do they come from?
I make content with my partner a lot.
Okay.
I have done content trade with other talent. I have met a fan offline and did a video with him, a couple of videos with him actually. But now it's mostly my partner and anybody that is also tested for STDs, because I refuse to have like sex outside like the tested pool. You know what I mean? Because I just want to make sure that we're all good. Yeah.
Is there a testing center up in Vermont that you use? Or like that, like for instance, that fan, does he just say, "Hey, I'm coming up on Friday. I'm going to go to the hospital this afternoon," or how does that work?
Yeah. Or Planned Parenthood. Both places like cheaper, at least insurance is involved, it makes it cheaper for us. I pay like $25, I think, to get mine done.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had to get talent tested for Plumperpass, and I had to drive to Massachusetts to get tested because there was no testing facility near Vermont, and it was just super expensive. So I had to drive all the way to Massachusetts, and it was just it was a pain in the ass. But like if you don't go through that system, like it's a lot easier to like fake test results. And that's like the production company's way of knowing that you're completely like clean and safe. You didn't alter the results at all.
Where in Mass did you have to go?
One second. Wait, where did we go in Massachusetts? It was Wilmington, Massachusetts.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So it's one state above me, Ray. That's why I asked, because this is a New England podcast.
You might have been there at the same time.
No, well, there's a Wilmington, Vermont, where my grandparents used to live. So that's where I know Wilmington from. Ray, while I'm pulling up my other thing here, do you have any questions for the beautiful Elisa Mae? Well, what the hell am I saying? Oh my God, I'm so sorry I got that wrong.
Nobody has gotten my name right. It's okay. It's Elisa Mae. It's okay.
Yeah. For some reason, I wrote down Elisa Ray. So okay, it's Elisa Mae.
It's okay.
So Rem was saying that you just started on Plumperpass. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was like a month ago. I think around a month ago.
How did that
put out last Monday?
Oh, okay. How did that come about? Is that something like they sought you out, or were you actively trying to get with them?
To be completely honest, I was pretty desperate to be on Plumperpass, because I was like, my 2019 goal is to be on Plumperpass. I don't care how this happens. I emailed like 7 people. I was like diligent, and I was probably annoying, but I was like, I'm made for your site. Listen to me. And then my first scene did really, really well. And the second scene I hope is doing as well.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Well,
awesome.
it should. You are very gorgeous, Elisa. And I don't want to sound creepy, but I think I would like to tell you that, because,
thank you.
Yeah. So let's say, it's, when you have 2 nights in a row and you have a total of 6 hours of sleep, the brain, Ray and I were talking about this earlier, and the brain just stops working. So I apologize, because I had a whole thing. All right. So let's say, for example, let's say Rich Dickman, our benevolent boss and founder, decided that he wanted to get into the adult film industry. How does Rich Dickman's talent booker go about booking Elisa Mae? we reach out to you and say, hey, we're sorry. This is hypothetical. I'm not trying to be creepy on a podcast. It's just kind of, I'm curious how the process works. There's a talent agent reach out to you and say, hey, if you wanted to
work with me, how would you go about it?
Yes.
Okay. Good question. You're making me analyze myself. If I don't like somebody's personality, I won't work with them. That's probably me being like a bad businesswoman, but I just can't do it. If I don't like you, like it ruins it for me. I have to like somebody and like connect with them like person to person. You know what I mean? In order to enjoy working with them.
Makes total sense.
So if someone is like a douche on like the timeline on Twitter, I can't fuck with that. Like I can't work with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like supportive people. I don't know. I like somebody has to genuinely be into like bigger women. I don't like people who like are doing it to sell content. You know what I mean?
Right.
I want it to be like an authentic sort of thing as much as it can be in porn. But I don't necessarily need to be paid if I'm getting like a good footage out of it and I can sell that content because I know I'm capable of selling that content and maximizing profit on it. But yeah, I don't know, just be a decent person, I guess.
Okay. You hear that, Ray? I tell you that shit all the time and you don't believe me, but here you go, straight from an actual professional. It's funny that you mentioned
not a professional. That is not.
It's funny that you mentioned a genuine love or enjoyment of big women. When we spoke to Bella a couple weeks ago on the Ray, it was an episode that was too hot to air. Definitely nothing wrong with the recording.
So steamy.
Yeah, too steamy. We talked about how the big beautiful woman has more of a prominence in today's pornographic world, if you will. Whereas, several years ago, if that's what you liked, you kind of kept that quiet. You didn't want to tell anybody. But, I get on this show and I'll tell Ray every single week that I enjoy a larger woman. That's my preference, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So we're in a great time in the world here where we can proudly say, brother.
Well,
yeah.
And you tell me that outside the podcast all the time too.
I do.
That is noble. I like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was reading. I was doing some research here, okay, and I was reading through your Twitter timeline because.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Oh boy, that's a shit show.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You had mentioned being gender fluid because it didn't matter. You were attracted to what you were attracted to, right? I want to know a little bit more about that because, and this is why this isn't me. I'm not making a joke here. All right. But I feel like
you're not going to offend me. I promise. I assure you're not going to offend me. Just say what you need to say.
Would everybody here, either again, there's no words. I'm going to edit the shit out of this one. My God, I am sorry. I would make a joke when everybody was giving themselves pronouns and everything. And like, I'm he, him, or I'm Zimzer, or whatever it is, whatever you prefer. But I would say, yeah, I'm Ren Dickman. I am gender fluid, pansexual. And today I'm attracted to a brick wall. I don't know what it was. When you say gender fluid, and I'm just making a joke out of it, but when you say gender fluid, what do you mean by that? Because I don't think you're making a joke.
I'm not making a joke, but here's the thing is that I do not at all take my gender identity seriously. Like, it is not a integral part of my identity. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is that, like, I'm not gender fluid, but like, I live my life beyond gender. Like, if I'm dressing masculine, I'm not going to address that. It's just how I'm just going to wear that. I'm not going to declare myself any other gender. It's just like, I'm just me.
Be you.
I'm just me.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and it's for me, it doesn't matter at all. You can call me whatever you want. Like, it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I gotcha. And you are attracted to both men and women.
I'm attracted to whatever, baby.
Whatever, baby. Nice. All right, that's cool. See, Ray,
whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Well, it's all good.
Well, to me, it's a joke when someone brings up gender when it's not part of the conversation, when just out of nowhere, someone's offended by something when it doesn't, like no one's even bringing that up. Like to me, that's what, but it sounds like the way you're describing it is more of a, I'm not trying to do anything, any direction. Like I'm open to everything is basically the way you're saying. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, but that's just,
more or less.
It's because that happens to not be a part of my identity. It's not something I ever struggled with.
Yeah.
And I think that people who have struggled with that, it makes more sense if that's something sensitive to them, you know?
Yeah.
But I've never felt pressured by anybody in my life about my sexuality or my how I present gender wise. Like in high school, half my head was shaved and my hair was dyed blue. Like I looked androgynous, didn't wear that much makeup, but now I'm super feminine and I'm a literal porn star. So
yeah,
there are multitudes of gender within me, and however it presents is how it presents, I guess.
You mentioned that your Instagram blew up very quickly, and I just pulled up your Instagram here, and I've got two questions. What was the gimmick that got your Instagram to blow up? Was it your ass?
Oh, probably my ass.
Yeah. Okay.
I would probably say my ass. Yeah.
I think Instagram does really well with a beautiful ass. Because just by my own cousin sending me a whole bunch of pictures of the women he follows, and it's all ass. And so awesome. That is great. Now you're up in Vermont. I wanted to try to guess your ethnic heritage. What type of where in the European places your ancestors came from? Can I do that?
What?
I wanted to guess if you have German in your background. Is there Austrian, Eastern European?
Eastern European? I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I know my ancestry, but you know what? I'm not good enough at geography to know what is Eastern Europe, but I can give you where I'm from. Or
sure.
like what my blood is.
Yes. I would love that.
So
did you take a DNA test?
No, but my family is like all about that shit. Like my uncle did like a whole family tree thing, and yeah.
Okay.
On my dad's side, it's like French Canadian. Like my great grandparents like immigrated from Canada down here.
That makes sense.
So French Canadian. So that's why I have a big ass nose, and I think that we have a certain tone of voice that people find annoying. And on my mom's side, I'm Scottish and English, and I think that there's some sort of Scandinavian in there.
Okay.
And
I was way off.
Yeah.
I should have known the French Canadian better because you're so close to Canada where you are. I gotta tell you,
I have no tie to that side of me. I don't know French or anything like that. I don't know those grandparents. So it's just kind of like
French. Yeah. I took 7 years of French through my formative years in school, and I don't remember any of it, and I've never used any of it. So you're not missing much. I got to tell you, Ray is 25% Asian, which he just found out a few months ago.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So we were basically the same thing until about a year ago, maybe it was a year ago. And then, my dad took a DNA test and came back 50% Chinese. So,
really?
which was completely unexpected.
That's amazing.
And, so I became 25% Chinese a year ago.
Oh my gosh. Is he like discovering like a whole new side of himself? Is he like, wow?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing. That's amazing.
Why I'm
I love
so
that.
good at math.
But you know what? Somebody on my Plumperpass scene, they were like, that girl looks Jewish. I like her. And I'm just like, I look Jewish? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, but apparently I look Jewish. So I haven't gotten a DNA test.
And they subscribed. Right.
Elisa, so here's the thing, Elisa. I'm trying to be really professional here, but I could go on and on asking you what type of scenes sell the best and who do you like working
that is
with.
True. Yes.
And all that stuff. So you got to figure out.
He's
a
not
little
lying.
Shy. Yeah, no.
He's not lying.
You ask whatever you want.
Okay. What do you find is your best selling type of content?
That's a good question. So I have I have a theme. I have themes that sell well, and I have content that sells well with certain people. Mm-hmm. So I have like girlfriend experience type videos where it's like intimate and it's like, I'm being a slut just for you. Like that is like my specialty. People like seeing that from me. I have a certain, I think, filming style that's not like, it's not professional, but it's also not amateur. It's like that in between where it's like you can see everything, but it's like I'm still your girlfriend. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be crude, but all my content with Black men sells the best. It does, doesn't it? So that's something
interesting.
That's something we have to explore in a future episode, Ray.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and especially there's a lot of my fans are men of color. Right. So there's that, and there's also a subset, a fetish where white guys are worshiping the black cock. They're not calling themselves gay, but they're kind of like they see a Shane Diesel and it's like, oh, you know, it's a whole thing, right? Yeah. Love Shane Diesel. Wow. Have you ever met him? What have I got? Oh, he slid in my DMs one night and I was very happy, but that's my only interaction with him. Oh man. So I got to get with Swiney Ray. I want to get Shane Diesel on the show because I have a million questions for him as well.
Yes, do it.
Now you're, the person you film with the most, your partner. The wording is interesting to me. So it's just somebody that a business partner or a live-in partner. You don't want not a boyfriend, or is this, if it is something that's romantic, how do you balance that versus what you do online? Oh, like I said, I was posting nudes on the internet like way before he came into my life, but we've been together for 3 years. I started doing obviously like more professional stuff and it as a career in the middle of our relationship. And that was, it still is a struggle. It was a big change. But I like kind of sold a little bit of content with like past boyfriends, but it wasn't a lot and it wasn't for a long time. It was just when I needed some extra money, you know what I mean? But yeah, it can be difficult because it can be like, I need content. And then it's like, we're not vibing sexually. So it's like either the content is just not working. Right. Excuse me. Or, yeah, there's just lots of struggles when it comes to it. But what I find the most beneficial is that because I just say partner because he's my partner, like howdy, you know what I mean? Like we're best friends. Like he's just my partner. He has a traditional 9-to-5 job and he gets paid every 2 weeks. But with my income, I also get paid every 2 weeks, but I get paid on a rolling basis through OnlyFans. So it's like he gets his big chunks of money and then like mine is on a rolling basis. And I find that is a really good facet of like my relationship, like with porn and like his regular job. I think that's like my favorite part. The constant rolling in of the money. That's good. I like it. So it sounds like you got a good situation up there. This is you yeah. Elisa, you sound very well put together, very intelligent, and you can tell that you've done your research and you've put the work in here. And I think that's fantastic. So thank you. I appreciate that. What advice would you give to, not that we have any female listeners, but if we would, what advice would you give to somebody who maybe is not so confident in their body? In order to tell them, hey, you know what? It's okay to have an extra curve here or there, or it's okay to be a little larger in the hips. Would you like what with the advice and what was it that said to you, hey, Elisa Mae, it's okay to be who I am and I'm sexy as fuck and I'm going to show it off? Can I be completely honest? Absolutely. That was so inviting. You just got you gotta suck a lot of dick in this world. You gotta realize that people want to fuck you. Like people, like no matter what your size, people are gonna want to fuck you. I could be 700 pounds. People are gonna want to fuck me. Take advantage of that. Make money off of that. Do it. Like this is something that people do. Women do often out of guilt or, whatever reason, like otherwise, like, that is not for her pleasure. She is doing all this stuff and I'm doing this for money. and people pay me to like do this for fun. And like, I just had to learn to not give a fuck if somebody didn't want to, I don't know, if somebody wasn't a fan of fat women, I wasn't going to give a fuck about it. And I do kind of live in a bubble because I do interact with everybody who supports me and like doesn't criticize my body. So it's like, it's hard for me to give advice to an everyday woman because they're not in my position. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like even my own mom doesn't like how she looks. I'm just like, Mom, come on. Like, you're a total MILF, girl. You got this. Like, it just, a lot of women, it's not profitable for women to like themselves. And it's difficult for men when women have a lot of self-value and a lot of like confidence. It's harder for men when it's like that. Because
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah, when you said that people want to fuck you. And Ray, you remember that question we got a couple weeks ago where, was it the woman who wrote in asking how she could get laid? And we just told her, all you got to do is ask for it. And you just find somebody you like and ask for it because, it'll probably happen. Whereas
you don't need to ask, put herself out there. Literally, that's it.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we told her is that, men want to have sex with women. So find yourself a man that you want to have sex with and make it happen. It'll happen more times than not. Whereas you do the inverse of that. A man puts himself out there. Suddenly, it doesn't work out so well because women are a little more discerning with who they're looking at. I find.
Here's like the thing for me. Like, sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts.
No, it's fine.
There is this like illusion that like fat women aren't wanted, or like if you're over 200 pounds, whatever people's imaginary limits are for who they want to fuck. If you're over that, like you're unsexy, and that fat women, our inboxes aren't blowing the fuck up with your boyfriends. We're with you, like the skinny women. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We are as sexy, but there's this certain element of shame or this certain element of dirtiness associated with fat women, that we're like lazy or whatever. Like there's all these stereotypes that are associated with fat women. None of them are true, but they exist, and that makes people ashamed to be fat, and it makes people ashamed to be attracted to fat women. Of women, especially in my eyes.
And it's nice that that while that still exists, I don't find it as prevalent anymore. So I think we're growing beyond it. Yeah.
I have so many locals, like people I went to high school with, who have like bought my content. People I know like from my hometown, like like people want to fuck us. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. See, Ray, I told you. You didn't believe me. Stupid Ray.
What? Didn't believe what?
No, I'm just joking.
It's a joke, yeah.
All right, Elisa, I gotta say that this has been great. We're a little crunched here, so I don't mean to rush you off. I would love to have you back on again in the future and talk some more if you're up for it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that would be great. We'll chat. We'll get it going. Do you ever do comic book conventions? Do you play video games or comic books or cosplay or any of that stuff?
I've been to conventions before, but there hasn't been one that's been local to me that I've wanted to go to, so I haven't gone in a while. But It's not something that I'm not interested in. It just hasn't happened for me in a while.
If I was able to get press passes next year to ConnectiCon here in Connecticut, would you be interested in coming as my co-host? Look at that, Ray.
Sure.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I can't count on Ray to get out here, being out in stupid California. So
it's a little bit of a drive or walk.
Yeah, just a little walk. All right. Elisa, where can we find you? Can you give us your Twitter? What do you got coming up? What's happening?
I'm going to try to be at AVN in January. I'm going to be working with Plumperpass again in January as well. Mm-hmm. On Twitter, it's poppin'. It is at Elisa Mae X. I'm not going to promote my Instagram because I don't give a fuck about Instagram. Pornhub.
Hey, we have something in common.
Pornhub is also Elisa Mae X. Yeah. And my OnlyFans is popping as well. Lots of content. Yep. I don't know what else to say.
Nice. No, I'm very You don't have to say anything. That was great. And I'll throw all your links on our website as well. So my fans can come take a look and hopefully become fans of you as well. I really appreciate your candidness and being honest and in your answers. That was very, very, very enlightening. I do appreciate that. And I wish you the best of luck with your next Plumperpass scene. Do you have any idea what kind of scene it's going to be yet?
I don't know, but I hope I want to be on the beach. I want to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Like,
how much
there.
And here I am. This is the question I missed earlier, and I'm sorry. So I'm going to go back to some more questions here. How much input into the scene for Plumperpass do you actually have? Do they just say, "Hey, Elisa, we're going to do this. You're going to be a tutor, and then we're going to bang on the couch," or do they say, "Hey, what are you thinking, Elisa? What do you feel like doing?"
I had the most say in my hair and makeup, and I brought. For my first scene, I wore clothes that they had, and for my second scene, I wore a dress that I bought. I had no say in who I worked with. I had no say in the type of scene. In the first scene, I had a choice of what popsicle I wanted to be sucking on sexually, and I chose a bomb pop. Like, that was like the extent of my choices.
Yep. And who decides the pop shot at the end? Is that mutually agreed upon, or it's just like in the heat of the moment?
It's both of mine were kind of set up. Like, it took them a little bit. Usually I have been told that most times for the second scene, it's going to be a facial because they don't care if the makeup is ruined or not. That's how they did it with me.
How soon after the first scene did you shoot it?
We had like a lunch break in between the two scenes. And so everything is in a really weird order. Like, they did like pictures, and they did like just like portraits of me, and then they did like pictures of us fucking, and then there was like the fake cum shot for the pictures, and then we did like some video, and then it was just like this weird order that you would have never expected it to be in, but it was like that. It was really inconvenient. It was really hot in the studio. It was a difficult day, but it was totally worth it.
So you had porn style sex, meaning you had all the cameras and behind the scenes, all that stuff. Then you had lunch, then you had to do it all over again. You must have been exhausted at the end of the day.
I like woke up so anxious and like nauseous and like so full of nervous energy that I woke up at like 5:30. My call time was like 9, and I was throwing up the whole time. Like, I was so sick. I couldn't, like, I was so close to having to cancel because of how sick I was. I was so nervous, but I ended up like, I was like on the phone with my mom. I'm like, "Mom, this was a huge mistake. I'm fucking sick." Like, And then like client, who's like the owner of Plumperpass, is like, "I'm outside," and I'm like, "Okay, ready to go. Let's go." I wasn't throwing up. Like, I fucking drank some mouthwash, like did a shot of that, like just put on a brave face. Wasn't wearing any makeup. I was like, he's gonna not recognize me. I look like a goblin. But then the day was flawless because I worked with Sean Lawless for my first scene, and he was an absolute gem. I had the time of my life. It was actually good sex. It was a good time. So it ended up being a great day, but the beginning was hard.
So what makes... Okay, so I'm sorry. Remember I said I only had 6 hours of sleep in 2 days? That's where this is showing up, because I had all these questions ready to go, and now they're popping back in my head. What makes a good partner? Now, I have a rest her soul, a Marilyn Chambers DVD from the last movie she made in, I think it was 2003, called Edge Play. And she did a track commentary, and she was talking, I'm sorry, Ray. I'm sorry I'm admitting all this, but she's talking over the scene and explaining how, because she was doing a DP, and she was explaining how one of the actors underneath her was whispering to her and encouraging her and telling her she was doing great. And she said that helped a lot.
Aww.
Yeah. So what makes a good on-screen partner?
Okay, so I'm the expert at this because even though I've only done 2 scenes, my scenes were the absolute polar opposites of great and fucking awful. The first guy that I worked with for my first scene that was out, he was absolutely amazing. He made me feel super secure. He guided me in a really gentle way, but I knew that he was making me look good for the camera. Mm-hmm. And he really respected when he was respectful of my body. Sean Lawless, he has a lot of scenes under his belt. He's super experienced. I was super nervous to work with him, but it was amazing. It was great. We had real chemistry, I think.
Awesome. That's Really interesting. Thank you. And and
I wrote down those notes for next time my wife and I.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to be very careful and supportive and encouraging.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what Marilyn
Make her
Chambers
looking
said.
for the camera. Yep. Perfect. I like that advice. I appreciate it.
Elisa, if we sent you a Rich Dickman t-shirt, would you wear it in a scene?
What color is it?
What's that?
It won't last very long. It doesn't stay on very long, right?
No, I mean,
What
probably
color
not.
is it?
Yeah. Oh, what color? What color are they, Ray? They're black, right?
Something like that.
I mean, we can make it any color.
I think they come in. Yeah, I think they come in various colors, though.
Yeah.
Give me a
What
white
color?
one.
A white one? Okay. Oh, would you do like a wet t-shirt type of thing with it too?
One for Pornhub.
Okay.
You can see advertising.
You got black, white,
I like it.
lemon,
Oh, man.
dark heather, and purple.
Ray, let's get Elisa. We'll be in
And
touch. We're gonna get on that. We're gonna do that one for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, okay. This is it. This is it because it's got to be it because I'll never stop if I don't.
You're out of control.
I know.
He's in heaven right now.
Yeah.
This is like his favorite time of the day.
Are you willing to do a quick little improv as if we were in a porn scene together? First of all, you have to say yes or no, then I'll tell you what it is. There's not going to be any audible sex. It's the prelude to the scene. It's just the beginning. I just have this idea in my head and I just want to see how it goes. If you're up for it.
Okay, I'm probably going to be bad at this.
Okay. Don't worry about it. It's a first time for everything, right? Okay. So, here's the scene is that, you're going to answer the door after I knock on it. Okay. And I'm going to be a person trying to sell you something. And your goal is to get me into there to give it to you good. All right. This is funny in my head and you'll see when we get there. Okay. You ready?
I'm actually going to end up turning you on and I don't know how you're going to be able to handle that.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Cause I don't think we'll get there.
I'm nervous. I just talked myself up and I don't know if I'm going to deliver. What if I end up stuttering like an idiot? Oh man. Oh, I'm nervous.
Well, that lends to the realism of this. Okay. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, here's the scene. Knock, knock, knock. Knocking on your door.
Open up there. Hey there.
Hey, hi. I represent the Trump 2020 campaign, and I was wondering if I could talk you into voting for Donald Trump.
No, I'm sorry. Absolutely not.
No, but hello? Hello?
That was me slamming the door.
Okay.
I have it done up. I don't need you. Nope. There's not.
See,
no.
Nothing to worry about.
No dick is good enough for that.
Best porn scene ever.
Ray, we got to get in touch with Mr. Porno Man and let him know I'm way better than he is.
Yes. Yeah, he needs to step his game up. Wow.
Yeah.
He's way behind.
See, Elisa, you did great. You did fantastic. Thank you.
That was good.
Okay.
That was perfect.
That was perfect. We'll come up with some better next time. It's unprofessional of me to get turned on a podcast, as much as I'm trying to hide it right now. But, Elisa, one more time. We find you on Twitter. What was it again?
My Twitter is Elisa Mae X, ELISAMAEX.
All right. And you've got a link tree there, and we get you on OnlyFans. Your OnlyFans.
Yeah, my OnlyFans, my clips for sale, my Pornhub. I think my Instagram's on there if you want to follow me there. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll have all the links on the website, richdickman.com. So, Elisa, it's been a pleasure and a joy, and I hope we can talk again soon. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you. How do I end this?
All right, man. That was fun. What do you think?
Oh, she's awesome. She actually has so I think she has a really good business sense.
Yeah.
Someone that does research on things. I might have been able to squeeze in another question or two, but I didn't want to like interrupt as she was in the middle of something. Like she just was on a roll. And then she has a pretty good sense of humor too. She's pretty funny.
It's, if only I did the research in doing a podcast that she does into creating adult material, we could have been so much better. And maybe Rich Dickman will start his, porn company. Who knows?
Maybe he'll up the budget, our research budget.
Maybe. But it's what's really cool is just talking to somebody who's like in the area, like this New England, it's like, when did I ever think you go to New England, you don't think porn stars, and Elisa Mae is a gorgeous person, a gorgeous woman. And, I'm glad she came on the show. That was fun. And, hopefully this will work and it's not too hot and the lawyers don't get involved. All right, Ray. Let's start bringing this one home. All right. We'll be back in next week. I'm trying to get Matt from NFHC on next week. That'll be fun. But otherwise it'll just be you and me. I do have a Svensson. Should
we just save it?
You want to save it for next week?
Well, we could.
Okay. So Hot Drummer News Babe, you win Dick of the Week this week. Yes. Haunted houses are bullshit.
By default.
Yeah. They cost too much money. The lines are too long. And, you know what? I'm going to say it. They're too scary. I don't need that. I don't need people screaming at me and jumping out of nowhere trying to startle me. There was this one time I went to a haunted house. And it was like a haunted outside house. And this guy had a chainsaw, but with no chain on it. And he had it going vroom, 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 and like trying to chop us with no chain. It scared the shit out of me. And I was like 26 years old at the time. So, maybe I was 23. Yeah. So yeah, haunted houses are the worst. So thank you for submitting that. Ray, you agree with me?
Fucking 40-page bullshit. Come on.
That's crazy.
That's like the epitome of 2019 right there, where they're like, all right, so everyone's going to sue everybody. So here we're going to go the complete opposite route. And you're going to have to you're literally going to have to hire a lawyer to help you, sign the waivers to clear, to be able to enjoy, well, I guess not enjoy it, but go to the haunted house. So
yeah. You know what? And Sven's can wait till next week because we did this for him. He wanted us to do more interviews and I gave him 2. So Ray, I would like to thank, Nathan and Justin from Nothing But a Bob Thang for coming on. That was great.
Yeah.
And also thank you to, Elisa Mae for coming on as well. The extremes. We had Bob Ross and BBW pornography. My life is complete. I'm very happy right now. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. That's exactly it. So I will have links to their shows and their Twitters on the website. So richdickman.com. Click there and you can check everybody out. Ray, how do we find you, pal?
On Twitter at Jules Winfeld. That's pretty much it. I don't really get on Twitch too much.
Yeah, you're too busy.
Know. The new Call of Duty came out. Maybe I'll play that.
Do you have a free copy you can give me? Because I don't want to pay for it, but I'll play with you.
A free one? I don't know. It just came out today.
We got to get to the point where we get like we can become we can call ourselves games journalists. Like that's a real job.
Yes.
Right? Games journalists, please get the fuck out of here. But anyways, you get free copies of shit and you do a lot of quid pro quo. Like somebody could try to bang me so I can give them positive reviews and stuff.
As if they do what does a real journalist do? Oh, let me see. Maybe they actually travel to wherever that war is.
Yeah. Maybe they journal
on the battlefield and actually do some research. I don't know, spend hours in the library looking at old newspaper clippings. But like a games journalist, are you kidding me? What do you do? Play a game for a few hours and you're like, here's my review? You fucking journalist.
Fuck you, games journalist. And fuck you, everybody going to BlizzCon, free Hong Kong, boycott Blizzard. You can find us on Twitter at Rich Dickman Show. Again, richdickman.com for all your Rich Dickman needs. You can check us out on YouTube. All the episodes get uploaded to YouTube as well. You just search Rich Dickman, you'll find them there. Find producer Ryan on Twitter at RyanTRDS. You can find me on Twitter. I am at Rem Dickman, and you can find my mom on Twitter at Rem_Mama. I think I'm missing something. Oh, the email. Jesus. The voicemail. 860-316-4776. Call the Dickman line. 860-316-4776. Submit your Dick of the Week or let us know what you think or whatever it is. And you know what? I don't do this often, but if you could go to whatever the review site is, the podcast app of your choosing, whether it's Apple Podcasts or whatever, if you could give us a rate review and maybe even a subscribe, that'd be cool. We'd really like a review. We haven't had one in a while. I'd like one. I'd like to know that I suck or I'm doing okay. Whatever it is. And that's about it. So we'll be back next week with episode 79, Sexy 79, Ray. And we'll be doing something fun. I know. And but until then, I do appreciate all you listening. And check out our friends, Not Female Consumption Podcast. Check out the Thought Cops. Check out Roast Mortem, guys, and also check out Garbage and Gold. Those are our friends. I love all of them, and we're all good to each other. All right, that's enough. I'm rambling. I'm tired. I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna sleep. Ray, I will talk to you later. To all my friends out there, I love you. Good night.
See ya. We're out. Such a good episode.
I didn't come across as creepy, did I?
No, I don't think so at all. I guarantee you. See, the thing is, I guarantee you. She was saying people recognize her and stuff. There are, and even she was saying that people from her high school buy her content. There have got to be some super creepy people. So even if you, and you weren't, but even if you are actually kind of creepy, it comes across as normal. It's got to, right?
Oh man.
not normal, but I'm not normal creepy, but like you're not being creepy normal.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to clarify that right there. But because there's, oh man, if you work in porn and you're actually, dude, if she got 150,000 followers within however short period of time, there's obviously a lot of people watching the content, and there has to be a lot of actual creepy people that just DM her and they're like, want to see my dick?
Yeah. Just, like, yeah. Oh, that's it. See, right? If I wasn't so tired, I would have had that. Put that in the notes. When we have Elisa back or whatever, we have another porn star on. I want to talk about the creepy, especially like the Indian people. It's like, hey, baby, I think you sexy, be my wife. No, right? Jesus.
No, but you're right though. It is like, I guarantee there's a lot. I would love to get into those stories. That's what we need to do. That's what I'll bring up. Next time we interview some more porn stars, I'll bring up the crazy people stories. There's got to be some good ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, man. We can.
Nice. That's the best podcast ever. Bob Ross, porn star. I mean, this is a dream come true.